Shake, shake, shake. The reason I'm saying that is Katie is making Willow's bottle. She's singing the song "Shake, shake, shake, shake that bottle," and that's strongly in my head. So it is what it is. Oh, this camera looks suspiciously dull. I know you can't see me yet. You can't see my beautiful face. Oh, you can hear the dogs though. Oh, that was not the button I wanted to press. That was also not the button I wanted to press. I'm not going to go up in ISO. It'll do. It'll do. I don't know what that is. I do know what that is. Hi the hell. Two things. Oh, I hope the camera's not stuttery, so it looks a little bit stuttery on my screen. One thing is I've had my haircut. The second thing is I'm very spotty. I just know it. Well, I knew, but it's more obvious now. Looking at the screen, I can see I'm more spotted than I anticipated. So I'll tell you one thing. Hi, Jay Young, by the way. I noticed. Well, yeah, for sure. There's parts in that last video where the bit where I'm spraying, the haircut wasn't done, and I was like, "Will anybody notice?" It was so weird getting my haircut. I know this is a really super exciting conversation, but I haven't been out for a while. But I'm headed into the office tomorrow, so I thought I better get it done now. I have an incredibly high hairline. This is, make no bones about it. I'll be bald in a few years, but for now, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm headed back into the office. I thought I need to get my hair cut, and I had a day off, so I was like, oh, I'll go now. Thankfully, it was quite quiet, but in the town where we live, I must say, there's way more people than there should have been, number one. And not only was there way more people than there should have been, next to none of them were wearing masks. Like, the odd person was wearing a mask. Which I just bought a new mask, which I'm not necessarily convinced I look particularly great in. My dad had one, and he looked super badass. Stinks. Wait, it's not quite as cool. It really smells for whatever reason. And what was I saying? Yeah, most people weren't wearing masks. And the guy in the hairdresser was like, yeah, most people aren't bothered, but at least the guy in the hairdresser who was cutting my hair, he had gloves on, and he had a mask on and stuff. You can't really have a mask on whilst getting your hair cut. Well, I could for the top bit, but not really for the bottom bit. So, ninja, I'm not cool enough to be a ninja. I think it slightly looks better on camera than it does in real life. But to be fair, it was only a cheap mask. And yeah, so I've got my hair cut, and I'm spotty. That's two correct things. When I can hear Willow crying in the distance. I say in the distance, it's actually just downstairs. How are you, Jay Young? So I don't understand. So your brother's taken the Harlequins, but what's death mask? Death mask. It sounds like I have a lisp. I do apologize. I do have a slight lisp. What is that? Is that a box? Let's have a gander. Shall we ganderino? Yes, maybe. Let's have a look. Oh, I've got all the chats gone, but it's fine. I can see it on the other screen. Death mask. It says box, so it sounds like a box. It was a 7th edition set with Harlequins and Deathwatch Marines. As I can see, move my head over to yond. Oh, so a little bit like whatever it's called. Prophecy of the Wolf, something like that. I'm presuming it wasn't the new edition box. Maybe it was, but yeah, something like that. Cool. Yeah, that's let's have a nice look at these pictures here from Bell of Lost Souls. Alright, cool. Speaking, I have not really progressed anything. I don't know if I said last time I was on the stream, but I've bought some Star Wars Legion stuff. I bought Clone Wars Army basically. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and I just sort of impulse bought it. Do I regret my decisions? A little bit, but don't you always regret it when you buy models? At least somewhat. At least I do. Today, I was going to build terrain, right? I was going to build some terrain, but I can't be bothered. It's weird because like the terrain that I can make on the stream is, it takes me, if you can hear Willow, I will shut my door. Let me see if I can hear it on the mic. Yeah, a little bit, okay, but not too much. Yeah, I wanted to make some terrain. I have a bit of an idea for a video, but the idea for the video is going to take me like quite a while to do. Either a full weekend or 2 days, depending on how I do it. And yeah, like I don't know if I should. I was going to do something, you know, like really simple, just like a simple video for get me from one point to the next. And it's like, well, I can either rush it or I could do it on stream. And at the end of the day, I was just like, you know what, I'm just not going to bother. At least I don't think I'm going to bother. I might do. We'll see how the mood takes me. I think it's because I was off work yesterday and I'm in work today. I was working from home, obviously, but I am actually physically in the office tomorrow, which is disturbing, but it is what it is. So I thought we'd just chat instead. And I probably won't even be here, like, you know, I definitely won't. I think I was here like 3 hours last week. It won't be that. We'll just quickly chat. But at some point, I do want to talk about my latest video, which you've obviously seen, Jay Young. Well, you've seen of it because you said you noticed it in my latest video. There was like, it's interesting because I'll tell you, like, I can't show you because I don't want to show you my analytics because I don't know if that's against term on service or whatever. But out of the last 10 videos, that video is doing very well. It's doing as well as my bunker video, but the bunker video, for some reason, at some point, and I'm probably going to play, so you won't be able to see it. I hope it doesn't. The views for it after a while, like, sort of really drastically tailed off. I hope the same doesn't happen for this, but we'll see. But yeah, it's doing well, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes in the long run. But there was so many things. Let's see if I can find one of my walkways. Ugh. There were so many things that I could have done. That was the thing. So this is the actual platform. This is one of the platforms, which I really like the way that the sprayed effect just looks. I know you can't really probably see because I've not gone full screen. But oh, hi the Sneak. Making the foam board ruins. I've made a similar set before, but I said try your method and use awesome templates. Oh, cool. And hi. It's a good build, that walkway. Thank you. So the foam board building. I was gonna get my foam board building out. It's weird because that foam board building. I'll go full face. This one. I think it is this one. I'm in a bit of a strange mood, as I am almost every night. What are I gonna do tonight, Brian? That foam board ruins. Like, if I was going to make a lot of them quickly, I probably wouldn't do what I did, if that makes sense. I think with terrain, you always have to like weigh up how much time you're going to spend making it versus the reward that you want, and you also have to weigh up like the how much money you want to spend. So that the build that I did of this foam board build was really, really cheap. Like, it is literally almost all foam board with a few like cocktail sticks, and the template's pretty simple, but you know, there's a little bit of extra detail in which maybe some people might not want to do. So like for the corners, you've got to do that classic thing. If you've got two edges, if you glue one like that, well, you'll expose the foam board. So even with the best will in the world, what I did was I got two small pieces and covered it up, but I still had that little problem. So on one of them, you sort of like cut a slit of the foam board so that it doesn't cut through the foam board, and that's like, it's a trick. That's a tricky maneuver to do. It's not, but that's why I sort of built that build in a way where dog's barking. I built that build in a way where if you got it wrong, you wasn't wasting the whole build, because you could try and do that on the big piece of foam board and fail, in which case you'd have to like make your building ever decreasing in size. So that's why I came up with that idea of like putting an extra thin bit over the corner. Plus, I think it really, that detailing really helps. There's a couple of stuff that maybe I would have used different materials for. Like, if you have any chipboard, I would maybe consider using chipboard for the windowsills. That might look better. You could possibly do like a more gothic style of window, you know, obviously in the build it's a window with an arch. You could, if you wanted, put like cocktail sticks in the middle of the window, make it look like a gothic arch, and it was being supported a little bit like a Games Workshop actually do their ruins. It's weird with those builds because I almost see what I do as not just a template in the fact that I provide the templates, but I see them as a template in the sense that I want people to like build upon them as well, which I think I really hope people do with the walkways, because I think there's so much room there. And hi Robin, how are you? Good evening everybody. Good evening everybody. I hope you're well. I hope you're going well. I am going well. I don't know. That's I hope you are going well. Doing well. I bet you it's doing well. There you go. Hi, Joe Thornton. Enjoy your channel, man. Thank you very much, Joe Thornton, who has a picture of Abraham Lincoln. Each to their own. Yeah, I don't actually know too much about Abraham Lincoln. I don't really know too much about the American presidents full stop. I don't think in the UK we really get taught it. But then again, like why would we? In a sense, you know, we ruined enough countries. Well, it would have been a little bit even weirder if you weren't American. that would have been interesting. I could see it, because there's stuff like who was it? George Washington, right? I think it's George Washington. Basically, I live near Manchester and Liverpool, and there's a whole rivalry. One of the thoughts is, hi Ben, I hope you're doing very well. One of the like, bit of rivalries is apparently Liverpool were taking, they weren't that bothered about materials that were, I might get the historically incorrect, they weren't that bothered about materials that were made from like slave labour, where Manchester was like, nah, we're not having that, and they literally went on strike. And was it George Washington? Anyway, was it George Washington? I think it must. Anyway, they had a statue of him, but they've had to, he famously said he wouldn't step foot in England. For obvious reasons. So they essentially said that they've designated the land that the statue is on as American soil, because then he doesn't have to stand foot on English soil, which is interesting. Thanks for the input. I'll be tweaking a couple of things, but I'm all about making the terrain on the cheap while it's still looking good. Yeah, and what I was actually sort of leading on to, you sort of generally have that like triangle. I think like Mel the Terrain Shooter spoke about it. Good and cheap terrain often requires a lot of time, so I'm really working on that boundary for a lot of my videos, is that I'm trying to do good looking cheap terrain that doesn't take forever, and that's like that's the holy grail, I think, if you nail all three. And yeah, that's really what I try and do. And for those of you, I was talking about the walkways, I really want somebody to take these walkways and run with them. A little like Wylock's walkways are fantastic, and you could very easily sort of replicate the similar method just with those cans and these platforms. And I want somebody to really like take it and just run with it and just make a completely impressive structure, is what I really would like somebody to do. Someone should pry his foot up and throw some English dirt under it. Well, the thing is, if the Americans would respect him back, so that would be harsh. Sorry for your poor English. It's okay, Robin. It's weird because you could actually say, I hope you're going well. It would actually sort of make sense. They just threw me because it was doing, but it makes sense. You want to make a set of the walkways? It's weird, those walkways, because I don't want to tell people not to make them, obviously, because I just made the video. But you're going to Eldar them up. I still want to do stuff like that. Obviously, I can only make one, and the one that I do is like the most basic version of them. But I would say that they're not like super quick, but I think the reason it took me a little bit longer than it would take you is because I thought about it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't think about it, but obviously I thought about the design. I had to check to make sure that the whole thing would actually work. And I had to check, am I going to be happy with this as a video and stuff like that. So I think for me it took a little bit longer. It took me like probably, how much I know this. It took me about 6 hours to make them all. It's not that bad actually, is it? Yeah, the reason I know that is because I can see the footage, how much I record. Yeah, so just there are you can get some really cheap MDF walkways if you wanted to, but I quite like them. They're cool. They store away very easily. Obviously, the sides of the can is a problem. I can't not have the sides of the cans, but it is what it is. The longest part of the first set I made was painting, washing, dry brushing. That's why I like the idea of base coating, dusting with a spray can. You had it. I'm so lazy, like incredibly lazy. I think if anything, me being lazy is a strong benefit to the channel, because I don't want to sit there and do all the boring stuff. When it comes to painting, it's a bit like I could have painted it black, then I could have painted it grey, then I could have painted it dry. You could have dry brushed it, and it's not hard to do. It's not difficult to do. It's just time consuming. Whereas if I just like spray it with a grey, spray it with a black, spray it with a grey, highlight with a white, move on with my life, like that's all I ever do. Yeah, a lot of people enjoy spending the time. I think for me, it's just because I got to worry about getting the videos out and stuff like that. Talking about, is there any way to chip through chipboard faster? You can cut it with a pair of scissors. Do not be afraid to cut it with scissors. If you can, and maybe the measurement's not that, maybe it's a short piece, snip it with some scissors. It'll go through really quickly. I also find chipboard to not be a very, very friendly material. I know like a lot of people use it a lot for a lot of other crafting projects, but it takes quite a while to go through. A bit of me thinks you might as well use like 1mm MDF or something like that. It doesn't cut very easily. Oh, the baby is crying, kicking off. Oh, no worries, the sneak. It's a pleasure having you. A hacksaw. See, a hacksaw's probably overkill for chipboard. Especially if you want straight cuts, I think a hacksaw would be like, yeah, possibly overkill. I'll add some ways for mine. They will be for snipers, and I'll also add the ladders. The ladder idea, I was so pleased with myself when I thought about that. I was like, damn, this is a good idea. And so that whole walkway system came from. Oh, isn't Captain Cook's Memorial burial in Highway? Piece of on that bronze thing. It would not be surprised me, Mac Danzav. I like how countries do that, because it literally doesn't mean anything. Like, wherever Washington is or wherever it is, I still think it's Washington. America's not going to come and claim it, are they? They're not going to be like, right, on this 1 foot by 1 foot ground, we will build a satellite. I don't know. I do think that's cool. And so the inspiration for those walkways essentially was the same kind of idea, but somebody was using these cardboard tubes. They didn't seal it in at the top, they just had a long stick, and I felt like sealing it in like really compacts it, and they didn't have the bit on the bottom CD that would hold the stick in as well. And if you don't do that with the little like foam board cutouts, what happens is your stick, because the CD is so thin, it doesn't quite ever lodge itself in. Whereas if you've got the foam board cutout, it like properly wedges in, and the top properly wedges in, and then the whole thing is like, it's not rock solid, because it is actually a very big tower perched up on a CD, but that's why you add the weight to the bottom of the CD, and you have the big CD for the bottom. It's unlikely to tip up, like I wouldn't go any further than 3 high. That's why I personally never made a 4, but it's not going to topple over or anything like that. You can put some serious weight on it. And this hand gesture is maximum professionalism. If it had oil under it, but we've probably checked. I'll go. It's only in Manchester, not too far. I'll go check. I'll just drill under the statue. People probably think I'm like trying to tear down the statue, and that's not great. But especially considering the connotations of the statue. But yeah. So I really want to see somebody do the railings. So the reason I didn't do the railings is I made. Oh, do I have it up here? No, it's not up here. Balls. One thing I didn't even show on the video, right? Why are you not on my face properly? One thing I didn't show on the video was on the actual walkway, so not these. I actually put some of them on one of them, and it basically meant that you could easily do, on the walkways themselves, you could do a T-junction. There's so much you could do. Like, the railings could easily clip onto the same system as well, hence why you try and make that all the same size, you make it the same so that it can either be a walkway or a barrier. Yeah, like, there's just so much that you could do. I was a little bit reluctant to just release the video in the state that I released it, because I was like, bro, I could do so much better than this. Gruber Deutschland, Jolly Roger. I apologise for the way I just pronounced that. And 2, I hope I didn't say anything bad. I'm presuming it maybe means greetings from Germany, but you know, who knows for sure. Certain. The Jolly Roger is an interesting one to go along with that. But yes, hello Jolly, which reminds me of Dom Jolly, which for some reason I just wanted to bring up. So yeah, the tall tower things don't really fit with the law of my table, so it'll be using the walkways on some shorter buildings. Yeah. One cool thought I thought somebody said, and it was somebody from the Crafting Brothers, another YouTube channel. He was like, "Oh, I might do this and do a tree house, like do it like a tree." I was like, "Damn, that is a good idea." I should have like said that I was going to do that myself. I still might. In the comment back to him, I was like, "Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about doing that myself." I'm not even sure what I thought about when I am at this point, but yeah, so for this video I was going to make some terrain, but turns out I can't be bothered for some reason. I think probably just to do with work. And it's weird, motivation is James Keeley said, it's a good idea. It is a good idea. It is. The whole system's a really cool system. I really like it. To the extent that I was actually tempted to create a 3D printable version of it, which is one reason we're doing these Kickstarters today, because I was like, might do. I'm going to try and turn those vertical pillars into Wraithbone Psychic Focusing Type. I don't know what they are. Wraithbone Psychic Focusing Type dealios. Interesting. So, the plan is we're just having a chill day. A chill day. Nothing amazing. If you have any questions, I will obviously try and answer them. I know, for example, when we talk about streams, other people who do streams would be terrain streams, would be Mel the Terrain Tutor. I know he does them on YouTube, and for he's primarily is just asking questions. It's just like a chill chat, which is sort of the vibe of what I'm going for more today, rather than like specific subjects or whatever. What do you think is the best settings for 3D printed terrain? That's such a like big topic. The best settings for an FDM printer, your best settings generally for your own printer, really, isn't it? But I personally, when I was doing my FDM printer, I was going with very thick layer heights, like 0.2 layer height, and yeah, I wasn't. I did a very slow bottom layer because I could not be bothered with it not gripping to the bottom layer. And yeah, even that, it just took forever. And then I just filled in the lines with like some filler, spackle, and then just sanded it down. But yeah, walkways have 2 toothpicks on each side to keep it on the other end if you use foam board. Walkways have 2 toothpicks on each side to keep it on the other end if you use foam board. I don't understand the question. I do apologise, Joe. If you have an FDM printer, I would look into getting a nozzle smaller than the default. See, if you get a smaller nozzle, so you'll get better detail, I believe, but you also have to make sure that your filament is like the correct diameter all the time. Otherwise, you'll end up with like some funkiness, I think. Jay Young's like an expert on this subject, so I will obviously defer to anything that Jay Young states, but I believe that to be the case. And yeah, for me, if you're using an FDM, if you're doing a big project, like if you use really like small layer heights, you'll get a better quality, but it'll take forever. So I would not personally do that, as it takes longer to print. Like the smaller your layer height, the longer it takes to print. So for me, I do the opposite. I go with like a really thick layer height, and well, not super thick, but I do like in like Cura, one of the slices I was using. It was called Draft, and I was like, yep, Draft will do. Yeah, exactly. Small nozzles you can print in high detail, but it takes longer. For me, it's weird that, because if you want a really big detailed project, then I could see how you would do that. But oh, I think I just know what you mean. If you have toothpicks on either side, could you use foam board? You mean like just get the toothpicks on the walkways and literally shove it into the foam board? You could do that. You could do that if you really wanted. You could probably like cut a hole in the foam board and just slide in the little walkway nozzles. And I see what you mean about the toothpicks. You could do a few of them and just slide it in. The only problem with that is I think it would get looser over time, I think. Broken Legion of Gamers says 0.2 is the smallest I'd recommend for an FDM printer, and to avoid clogging, drop your print speed to 20mm a second. Curious draft setting is like 0.3. It was a while ago, I had not done it, but yeah, I was using really thick layers just because I think like it takes a long time. You could get like a standard, like let's say a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter tall building, and it takes like 10 hours. It takes 10 to 15 hours. Hi, Just Kev. I hope you're doing all right today, Just Kev. James Guilty, it would be good for some fancy dwarven walls, but not necessarily so good for 40k or futuristic builds. Not 100% sure in what relation that was to, but I'm presuming you are correct. But yeah, for me, I think the holy grail of printing are probably the, let me get the name up. It's the Eligu Saturn. I've not spelt this correctly, and I know you can't see it, so let's get this up on the screen. Yeah, so this is just the one. Oh, everywhere I put myself, this is the Eligu Mars. Can I make this full screen? Yeah, apparently I can, but not quite what I wanted. I'll just move myself out of the way. Fine. The Eligu Saturn. So the Eligu Mars is on the right and the Eligu Saturn's on the left, obviously, because it says the names on them. This is almost, for me, the holy grail of printing, in one sense. You mean smaller nozzles as futuristic scenery is not as detail heavy. All right, okay. I understand. The thing about these printers is, one, resin costs a lot. Two, it's not that they're that much quicker, I don't think. Somebody will probably correct me. The Saturn doesn't release until like November. Yeah, sure, I'm not saying it's out now, but like, this is a 21-hour print, and this is the kind of thing I want to avoid. Like this is also like a Millennium Falcon, 21 hours. Yeah, like it's time. So what I think really, there's two things I think really needs to happen when it comes to 3D printers. I'm not sure FDM printers will compete in the long run, unless, now you can get some fancy ass filament. You can get some really fancy filament, and you can print a smaller nozzle, and you can make the detail look really good, but then your time's going up. But I'm not sure if you want really high detail stuff. Maybe you would smaller high detail stuff like miniatures and stuff like that. You'll get a resin printer. The Terrain pledge for home printing. Can you still back it? I don't think I'm gonna back it, but I'm not sure I have the space. I have a very small room, but I wonder if you can still back it. There's two things. So we need resin quality miniatures. No, resin quality bigger prints that don't take forever. For me, if you want miniatures, it's almost a solved problem. Like the Eligu Mars and the small little resin printers for 200 quid or whatever they end up being, I think they look incredible. If you want miniatures, then those are fantastic. If you want terrain, then I just don't know where to go at the moment. I think it's a very tough question. You either go FDM and it takes forever, you go a big resin printer and it takes forever and it costs a lot because of the resin, or you go with traditional methods and maybe supplement it with like greebles. For me, I think that's where I would go right now. If I was using a 3D printer, I would have like an Eligu Mars or an equivalent, and I would just be like, I'd be printing doors, I'd be printing windows, I'd be printing all the little things that you can't very easily do. That's what I will do. Do you reckon it would? See, I'm very interested in this. Hi, Daka Flacker Flame. When the pledge magic still to come, so they might make take late pledges. Cool. And I'm very interested in how terrain might get, like 3D printing might go as a whole. As I said, I think for miniatures, it's a solved problem. We just keep increasing the quality of these resin printers with better screens, and I think you're there. Not a problem. How much of a, I don't know how to put this, how much of a market is there for large 3D printers? Obviously, as terrain makers, we might be like, yes, of course, we want a large 3D printer, but what do you think people will be using 3D printers for? But it's among some other terrain. To be fair, when you're stood back, when you're on the table and you're looking down, you can't see most of the details. So some people were complaining about my... Some people were saying, oh, they look like cans. They are cans, number one. And number two, the actual platform. Right, so one, that is not the angle that you would be viewing this at. You'd be viewing this like from your point of view, probably like that. You're barely going to see the bloody towers. You don't see the detail. You don't see the detail unless you pick it up and you look at it like that. Really. The automotive filler is one thing that I tried to use, and that resin is something you get and you just like brush it on. There is stuff to do if you want to get rid of the lines as well. It's interesting now, like there's a bigger conversation about like where 3D printing is going. I think everything's going to get easier and cheaper and easier and cheaper and easier and cheaper, but some people say like it's going to be, Broken Legion of Gamers says FDM will always be around for terrain. Now, will it always be around? Or are we looking at maybe like 5 to 10 years it'll be around and then we'll have something else? Like, for all I know, like they don't do this properly yet, but I can imagine a world where like they take some foam, you shine like a holographic light on it and it instantly comes out with a model. Maybe, like it could happen. It just burns away all the rest, and I don't know. Maybe, like I'm just saying, maybe there's technology out there that that we're not necessarily aware of yet, or because if you would have asked me 5 years ago, I didn't see a resin 3D printer coming. I didn't know that technology existed. I thought it was just going to be FDM printers getting better, and what happened was a new technology came along. So yeah, and I am a Star Trek guy. You know, I'm a Star Trek guy. Once we have replicators, it's a solved problem. The world is a solved problem. So I'm not that convinced about that, but yeah. So there's two things here. I searched before just to make sure I had something to talk about. There's one thing I really like the look of. Terrain. But then I realised I need to take out the word wargaming. Does anybody have any idea how to get rid of harsh cut lines on cardboard? Using a dill weed as fork, but then I switched and got real flicks. Are you in the Discord, Joe? Because somebody was asking a very similar question. Does anybody have any idea? Harsh cut lines. I was cutting it with a knife and using a dill weed as fork. I don't know what is dill weed. I think FDM will be great. Yeah, I wonder if they can. A bit of me wonders if you can speed up an FDM printer. How is Bambino and the missus keeping? Well, she was crying about 10 minutes ago. She's at least shut up. Dillweed is a herb. So I was cutting it with a knife and using a herb as fork. But then I switched and got real forks. So, what is this question? Does anybody have any idea to get rid of harsh cut lines on cardboard? Why do you want to get rid of harsh cut lines on cardboard? Surely you want good cut lines. Do you? I look so weird with my hair so short and my spots. But yes, I think if they can speed up, in my head it feels like you should be able to speed up a resin 3D printer by simply increasing the power of the screen. No, I don't think that's reasonable, but in my head it sort of seems like it would be the case. I try to avoid rotary tools and any kind of proper tools. Anyway, so what we'll do is I'll just open all of these and we'll come back to them. These ones are closed, so we will not look at them. We will not look at you because you are closed. Harsh, rough, maybe. Oh, yes. So if it's rough cut lines, filler, spackle, you're an American, joint compound. Personally, I would take some card and I would just cover it in filler and then you wet your finger. or some water, ideally, and then smooth that out. Because you're right, like, you'll always have the corrugation in the card, or the little creases in the card. Using card as like a base is difficult in that sense, because it has a texture to it. That campaign will be great for Warcaster Neo Mechanic. Is that the Privateer press game? So let's have this. I'm gonna play this. I don't know. Let's listen to it, y'all. Let's listen to it. Headphones on, music off. Let's have a look what they're saying. If it's loud, let me know. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Hopefully not too loud. That weirdly looks like fabric on the top of that. This is 3D. Yeah, okay, this is 3D. This isn't actually real. I don't really like the colours. I think it's a bit unrealistic in terms of colours. This is quite GW-esque in terms of style, I think, isn't it? Those walkways definitely have the same kind of vibe as the Sector Mechanica stuff. I really like that walkway with the overhanging one. I wonder what the difference in height was there. The thing is, like, I'm sure this would be... Oh, it chooses an open lock. I'm sure this would be really good. The only downside to this is it would take forever to print. To print everything you saw there would take literally weeks. It's very like the GW stuff. Yeah, it is very much like the GW stuff, and I don't have a problem with that. Like, obviously that's the market they're going through, kind of thing. But having the requisite skill to sit down and generate the STL files myself, I'm not sold. Yeah, if you can create stuff like that, then obviously you're not going to buy it. But is this a 3D? You can tell, right? One, I don't really like the colours, but the colours aren't really a problem. You could definitely easily just paint them up a little bit grey. But because it's 3D generated instead of like an actual image, that to me tells me, I just popped the mic, sorry, because it was very loud then. But that to me tells me that it'll take forever to print. It will take forever to print. Which is fine. I always wonder, I always find it funny where it's like, you can pledge and not get anything. What did they think they are? My Patreon? Only my Patreon does that. Yeah. I like how they've got a limited amount for all access. $30 for it all is a bit, like, it's a bit much. I do sort of feel like these companies, and I don't, no disrespect to this specific company, like, I feel like you have to strike now while the iron's hot. Because eventually people will post something similar on Thingiverse. You know, it won't be as good. I mean, to be fair, the detail in that like catwalky thing there is really high. 3D printing is a marathon, not a race. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and I think that is a bit of a problem. It's one reason I got out of it, because I'm not doing that. You got 20 printer farm. Jeez. Woo. Do you sell the stuff you make, if you don't mind me asking? But yeah, no, it is a marathon. For example, I just want to put that in perspective for people. I think people very easily what they very easily get taken in by the like allure of 3D printing. It's like, oh, look how cool stuff I could have for almost free. Obviously, you got to pay for the printer and you got to pay for the filament and stuff like that. What I really find interesting about these walkways here is they have the central core, which is a little bit like mine. Obviously, I used a can. Now these look very like I don't know. I got a Necrones vibe from that. I really like the texture on this roof here for sure. I do sell the stuff. No one has bought anything yet, but you've got 20 printers. You're an absolute madman. Absolute madman. I'm jealous of your farm consists of 1 Mars and 3. Why do you have so many? Like, what life am I leading? Are you in America as well, Broken Legion of Gamers? Simple ladders. Everything's like simple in terms of like design. I don't really like the colouring. Like, there's no reason for that to be fully yellow. I find that a bit weird. Yeah, so Joel, I think that's an interesting one. I think people just get enamored by the concept of a 3D printer without realising the practical nature of how long it takes. You won't be able to post a link in this chat just because YouTube doesn't let you. It's not even a setting that I can change or do anything about. You'd have to like tell him what to search for, basically. You're in the States. So the reason I asked that is I think like in the UK, we don't have the space. Like, I've been to America a few times. I spent 3 months there. Even small houses are big. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I'm in like the tiniest ass room. So a lot of us, I don't have, I barely have the space for one. I could probably get away with one. But to be fair, this looks fine. I mean, that is a bit on the nose for Games Workshop, if I'm honest. The amount of skulls on that there are quite high. But they're taking a lot of their own inspiration as well. It's interesting for me. I look at this and I think, like, what could I make? And these little pipes here are very similar to the little straw systems you can buy. But I really sort of like, weirdly, the railings and how sort of thin they look instead of like bulky. They look cool. The average property is like 2 to 5 acres. I'm sure like the average property in the UK is probably like 0.5 acres. It's absolutely tiny. Yeah. So, weirdly, talking about locks, so this looks like something you would use as the lock between the two, and I was tempted on these walkways. You could, if you were brave enough, and I wouldn't necessarily personally do it, is just do that on absolutely everything, including the walkways, and then get like another piece of cardboard and just put it in both of them. Personally, not brave enough for that because it's not too tight. Yeah, well, I am completely 100% jealous of the US for its house sizes. Less so for its gun laws and its president. But your house size, I'm right up there with you. I definitely would want that. Just Kev, the only model I have up on Etsy right now is a cosplay set from the TV, The Orville. Oh, I really need to watch that considering it's sort of like Star Trek inspired. I'm in a 1,000 square foot apartment. Those 2 printers is all I'll ever be able to fit in my life. Oh, it's still probably bigger than my house, which I paid over the odds for. So all in all, I mean, $30 for all the size, 30 euros for all these. Yep, I got no qualms with that. They look like they're going to print together, fit together nicely, obviously well thought out. Sure, yeah, I can, like, you can pay $100, €100 and get the rights to it. No qualms with it. But I don't really like the colouring of the 3D models. Would have liked to have seen an actual physical product, but you know, it is what it is. I'm sure it'll end up being fine. I always find it a bit weird, like, why, if it's 3D models and you already have the 3D models, why are you not just releasing it when you finish? It is what it is. It is what it is. And then I'm not 100% sure what this is. Wait till you see the apartment size in Hong Kong. No thanks, Lee. Yeah. I guess I should be thankful for what I've got rather than miss what I don't have. I'm not 100% sure what this is. It looks like a lot of different terrain. Some guy airbrushing it, which is interesting. Hey, look who's it. Oh, it's Fat Dragon Games. Oh, I know this. The tabletop engineer made a little video on the fireplace, which is a bit weird of a video, but it was what it was. It was just him showing off the fireplace, and it used like transparent PLA. I want to say PLA. Let's watch the vid, shall we? If they've put up a vid, we'll watch the vid. It gets to be all dramatic and stuff. I was going to do this as like a monthly series on YouTube, but I think it's probably better as a live stream. Oh, what's he doing here? He's whacked in the battery with a little light on the table. Huh? Oh, I like that system for the door, but I don't understand why you'd need it. Why would you want to take the door off? I don't know. It's a nice system though. Cool windows. This looks very good for D&D. I agree. Think it's better as a live stream. Thank you, Jay Young. So do I. it keeps the actual terrain videos to being terrain videos instead of like, let's look what people are selling. You can sort of, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a few lines on that printer. Gotta ask what the time it is. Here right now it is 7:30 in the evening, basically. 7:30. Now, depending where you are in the US, if you tell me where you are, and I'll tell you what time it is. If you're on the East Coast, it's 2:30. If you're on the West Coast, 10:30. Oh, Central. Oh, well. On the plus side, you live on a 100 acre. Jesus Christ. I could. On the negative, it's a 1.5. Yes, that is the downside of living in like a rural area. You get a big house, but you get everything's miles away. So this, they call it the Valley Smartest. So they've obviously done something before. I don't personally know who they are. Everything here looks good. It just looks like some like, I don't want to say standard D&D fur, but everything looks like good quality D&D terrain. I especially like the windows though. That's a pretty cool design. Because it's got that sort of granny grating effect, but much thinner pieces, which is nice. They're also using this open lock system. It's interesting. I like the fact that a lot of 3D printed terrain is sort of like coming together and saying we're going to do the same kind of style. I do like that. It's 2:30 a.m. in Hong Kong right now. Lee, I go to bed. But thank you for stopping by. I do really appreciate that. Please don't stay up or try and get out of your go out of your way to attend these videos. They are not worth it. I'm East Coast, so it's 2:30, but West Coast is 11:30. Oh, damn! Is that the system Wylock came up with? Did Wylock create the system? Did he create the system, or is it just popularized the system? There's a few different standards, isn't there? Which I think OpenLock is the open source one, but then there's another one, but I'm not 100% sure who did what or what. I don't know if they created it, and I think it's a little weird of a system to just have these holes that you sort of then have to have a third piece that connects the two pieces together. It feels like awkward, if that makes sense. You would have called it a Y-lock. But then like people would search Y-lock and maybe get one of his terrain videos. So I don't know about that. I gotta say, I understand they have to do this, but I find this like really weird where you just see all of the individual pieces, and I'm just scrolling through. Like, to be frank, I don't care about the individual pieces. Like, it's not interesting at all. What is this? Do they have their own little game world? They're selling miniatures, more pieces. Yeah, okay. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff, obviously. They're using whatever the Dragon Lock is. So let's see. Let's look at the prices. Goodbye, Joe. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate these streams are not really good timing for the Americans, but the latest I could do for the East Coast, for example, would be like 5 o'clock. And even 5 o'clock would be 10 o'clock here. So I just can't really do it for the Americans out there. I apologize. I'm just going to do it like in the middle of the day because there's nothing I can do about it. But thank you so much for stopping by. I do really appreciate it. So for that one, you get 26 streets. So they have different, this isn't like you buy everything. You actually buy subsets of it. I think this makes it a little bit complicated because and it teases you in. It's like, oh, do I want set 1? Oh, but maybe there's a couple of pieces I want from set 2, so I'll get set 2. Actually, no, I'll just get the whole thing. Oh, actually, I can get the Dragonshire items. Oh, I can get the whole of the Dragonshire items. Understandable. Again, presuming they have all the pieces, I'm not 100% sure why they come out in September, but it is what it is. Yeah. So I'm interested. What do they write for the risks and challenges? Small company, choose a products. The thing is, if you're doing 3D printed files and you already have the 3D printed files, there's not that much risk, I guess. If you've already got the 3D printed files, the risk has already happened because you've already done the files. But this is a big one. This one they've already made they've already kickstarted for 127,000. Interested to see how widespread across the globe your views are. It is indeed, Johan. And hi, Johan. it's weird terrain because when I'm not, oh, I don't know how to phrase this, but when I think about my videos, I think about what materials are generally available in the US and the UK because they're the only countries I can get like reasonable data on. So, because when I look at materials in the US, I just look at other YouTubers because most of them are like American. I say, well, if they have a common material, then they can probably get it. And then when I look in the UK, it's like, can I get it? Every other country becomes a little bit like of a problem to try and find out like what they can have or what they do have. So when it comes to that, I obviously just try and use many different products. That's why I did some Netcon terrain with XPS foam, and then the next video was Netcon terrain just using foam board. So I always try and mix things up a little bit. So this looks like essentially more like greebles for some 3D printed terrain. I wonder, are they using the thingy lock? Yeah. I will play the video. I'm just scrolling through and trying. It looks sort of like Aztec-y. Let's watch the video. I was always expecting people to talk. They're not talking. It's just music. So, yes, very like Aztec themed or like Inca or whatever they're called. I wonder if that door actually slides open. That'd be interesting. But again, I want to see I want to see the free physical versions of them already. Just print like a section of them. A bit of me is like, have you already? WoW trolls, indeed. I'm playing a troll on my mage. So it does appear to be on rails. Hi Cohen. Yeah, so this is like yeah, they've just set a camera and they've gone off and they've done this in like Blender or whatever it is. The only problem I have is I just would like to see the physical product. Like a bit of me is like, you've got your files are there. Print them out. Like print them out yourself. It's cool. It's very troll heavy. I think the only like problem quote unquote with something like this isn't the quality of it. It's not very generic. It's so themed. It's so thematic that you are set into this sort of like troll, Inca. I don't know whatever the vibe is, Caribbean vibe or whatever it is. If you want to check out the great campaign, check out. I will check that out in a second. I'll copy and paste that, and we'll have a look at that as well. Yeah. Oh, the music just stopped. Print your parts. Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, print your parts. I think that's all I'm saying. I don't feel like I'm asking for too much. Hell by 3D thingy. Let me open a new tab. Let's search this recommendation. I am only really generally looking at stuff that's currently open rather than stuff that's closed, but considering this one is open and we might have got to it, but we'll click it. So what is this? This looks like I won't say World War II, but a war. The miniatures look, if I'm honest, the proportions of those miniatures look weird. It looks like a toy, and I don't mean that as an insult necessarily, but yeah, bolt action scale. I don't know, like I think they look thicker. They don't like the actual bolt action one here looks more like realistic. Anyway, before I slag it off, let's have a look at the video. Katie just sneezed and it's made Willow cry. Before I personally put anything out to sell, I print at least 3 times. Yeah. I didn't do that when I was giving my stuff away on Thingiverse, but I would if I was probably like trying to sell it. 2 complete armies. The key, this will be it. Have they printed anything? Doesn't look like they printed anything. Are they using Blender? They're using Blender. They look short. I guess it's because it's 15 mil. I think if you made them any less bulky, they wouldn't print. Oh, they have printed some stuff. That's at least a good thing. I like how the tank was not in scale to the guy there. Yeah, they look fine. Oh, they are going for the cartoony look. Okay, cartoony is probably what I was trying to say. Like it didn't look like real proportions, did it? It did. Cartoony is the best. Yeah, I understand. I couldn't I couldn't describe that very elegantly, but sure, cartoony is definitely what they look like. The ideal to any RPG or wargaming, yeah. So yeah, that's the vibe they give me. They look. That's why I was saying they sort of look like toy soldiers in a sense. Yeah, the bulky. They sort of remind me of, what is that game? There was a Battlefield game, like Battlefield 942. I think it was in Battlefield 1943. There was that game. There was a couple of games that they had that were a little bit like cartoony in style. And yeah, they printed the models out. That's good. It's always a good thing. I saw the other day, by the way, you're printing the Stuart tank right now to do a YouTube video for them. Oh, cool. I don't, you know, Broken Legion of Games. Am I following you? Am I subscribed? I'm going to check right this second. Right this second, I will check. There's some, and I'm going to try and show you a link of something that I saw the other day, which. Hi, Wapiti. I did see your video the other day, Wapiti. I don't think I commented or anything like that, but I did I did go on and have a look out, and I wasn't following you either, Broken Legion of Gamers, but I am now. Something I wanted to, let me get this up. Can you see what I'm on? You can't see what I'm on. Legion. So there's a couple of, basically the way my mind works is if I see something and I think about something, then I think, oh, that'll be interesting for the stream. Let me get this up. Well, so there's a couple of things I wanted to show. This is the one I saw. I know you can't see it, bear with me. This video, it's not a video, it's a picture. So somebody has 3D printed a Clone Wars army, which, if I'm honest, looks pretty damn sick. Like, they've obviously used a resin printer. On the tabletop from like 2 foot away, you're not going to notice any real difference. And I find that to be very interesting, the fact that people are basically doing that. I think the only time we interacted was in the Backtrack Legacy group. Oh, cool. I've got a memory like a sieve, but I hope I was nice. Normally I just slag Andy off for whatever reason. I think it's like very British to just slag each other off. And then somebody has printed these, which look pretty decent as well. I think this looks more like I think it was like an FDM printer because of the wisp, but I don't actually know. Resin. No, it wasn't. It was an Ender 3, he says. But you can get good quality with them. But yeah, so I just got thinking about like the future of 3D printing when people can literally make armies. That's a whole different thing, I think, for miniature companies rather than Terrain. Because Terrain, people generally they only really sell like MDF kits because they're cheap and quick. Nobody really sells big pieces of terrain for cheap because you can't do it. So and for Terrain, it's a different ballgame. But for miniatures, I think the jury's definitely out on that one. So this is the Troll one. They've not printed the stuff. That's my caveat to that. Back it because you believe in it. Don't do that. $56 for the whole thing. I like the fact that the door opens. I like it thematically. And if you wanted this theme, then it would make perfect sense. If you are maybe like not that interested in the theme or you want something more generic, then I think you may have a little bit of a problem. But I got no qualms with that. I think it's a bit on the high side personally, but you're paying $60 just for some 3D printable files. I feel like it's a bit high, but it is what it is. Now this one, I'm getting my instinctive vibe here is Blood Bowl. A printable modular system and miniatures for tabletop games, board games, war games, 3D printed files, STL files, scenery in 28 mils. They just lost me at the price. It was too high. I'm glad. I thought I didn't want to I don't want to come on these and be like, this is crap, this is too high, or what have you. But that felt like a little bit expensive. No buying at any lower value. Like, I think you want to sort of offer like a $15, $20 amount just to get. Don't offer all your files for that amount, but offer some files for that amount, I think. So this, I'm presuming, is designed for Blood Bowl. Hi, We Paint Minis. I hope you're doing very well. I hope you're having a great day. When I said that, it didn't sound very sincere, but I hope you're having a great day. How are you today? I understand how long it takes to learn to make those files, and yeah, I understand value in your time, but yeah, it was touch high. Yeah, so I think this is part of the problem, right? So let's say it's a whole conversation in itself, isn't it? But let's say you're an extremely talented designer, right? You make I'm very well. You make a wizard, a cool wizard. You spend 15 hours on it minimum, maybe even 30 hours. Let's pump it up, right? But you're not. The reality is, you're probably not going to sell that many because you've only made one, and there's probably less good miniatures available that will achieve something similar for a lot less money than if you charge $20 for it. Somebody out there you'll be able to get a wizard either for free or very, very cheap. So you do have to balance it, and you have to balance it against the competition and stuff like that. I'm sort of waiting for that central resource for 3D printing. Maybe I'll do this myself. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I will make. I don't even have a 3D printer. I will make a website that is for 3D printing terrain, and it'll have everything. Maybe, I don't know. The thing with that is, I know companies already do that. Obviously, there's Imperial Terrain and all kinds of stuff. So I'm obviously not the guy to do that because I don't design anything. But I just sort of think there'll be a centralized area for that. $50 makes sense. So we will look at these. I'm presuming these are for Blood Bowl. This isn't a video, so I can't click the video. Yeah, this is fantasy based, really, isn't it? I do apologize because you can hear my baby crying in the next room, but there's nothing I can do about it. They've got a lock system. Are they using the open lock system, or is it their own lock system? Kraken Studios doesn't say anything about the Titan Forge has set the market price for a complete system in the Bloodfields complaint. Well, there you have it. If you've got a big somebody setting a price, then you're sort of done so, aren't you? The squares of 1.3 inch squares, which I'm guessing is specifically designed for Blood Bowl or something. You can get Atile for free, so you can just download a sample. It's always a good thing to see. I like the fact that it's got extra stuff for the side of it. I'm not sure I understand the system. They don't seem to have named it or what have you, but it is what it is. Oh, and they've created this. Oh, that's really cool. Printed stencil, so that you can basically cover up your terrain and then spray it just to get the white underneath it. That's a really cool system. I really like that. That in itself is fantastic. You could obviously just use card, but it is what it is. I think that's good. I need to, let me read this. Not very on topic, but I really want to get back. I really want to back a thing. It's a piece of thin metal with the net of a D20 cut into it. You can pop it out and fold it in, and bam, you have a D20. It sounds cool. It depends on the price. That sounds like it would be cheap, wouldn't it? It's a thin metal? Maybe. If I can teach a 3D printing cost for $25 a head, where you get an 8-inch tall action figure with your head on it, they could handle dropping the price. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't want to talk about money, or Steve's here. The live stream's got broken. It can't, unless Steve's broke it straight away, but I hope not. Seems okay to me, Steve. Bloody Steve. I hope you're doing all right today, Steve. It's $10, not very cheap, but it's okay. Okay. I don't know the finances behind 3D printing or whatever. I really like that stencil idea. I think that's good. Think you could just use card though at the end of the day if you wanted that. Just tape down 2 sets of card and spray it. You could probably do it all in one go then. bleachers. I really like it. They look like that actually looks 3D printed. Like they've actually printed that out and it looks fantastic. That is such like Blood Bowl-esque vibes. I like that. These, there's a lot of same kind of pieces here. If I'm honest, if I was going to do this myself, I don't think I'd do the board 3D printed. I don't think it's worth it. I think you would do your board as like, and I wonder if they offer this as an option. They should do the board as like just a bit of cardboard or not cardboard, like an actual basing material like EPVC or something like that, and then let you do the tiles around it. I feel like that'd be really good to store. To do all the tiles for the grass and stuff like that just sort of feels like it might be a bit of a waste, and you'd have lots of like lines on your board. All in all though, I think this actually looks pretty damn decent. Many different themes, obviously designed for Blood Bowl. I would do the stadium as a system, and for the pitch I would just keep as like grass, I would keep it relatively flat. Yes, I understand that you could have like molehills and stuff like that, but all in all, I think that looks pretty good. Let's have a look. So $1 for the fan. Not really that bothered about that one. $25. All the stadium assets, all the grass and rock game and field assets, all the stretch goals. You'll see. So basically, this is, you get the terrain, you get the models, the miniatures. So the actual, whoever it is, the ogres and the humans. Or you can get, appears to be, I'm not 100% sure here, this includes everything in the terrain and the environment assets and the miniatures. So you can get both for $35. Then I really don't understand the big jump up here. The merchant, oh, you get the rights. So really, it's $35 for everything. Right, that's fine. Yeah. Personally, I think you probably already have your players because you play the game. So $25 for the stadium. Bonza. The board can be handy if you 3D print holes for stands, scoreboards and legs. Yeah, like, I'm not saying don't do the board, but if it was me, I'd probably get like some 3mm MDF. Well, it depends on the thickness of the board, doesn't it? But, you know, I'd get something that's the same thickness of it and do it that way. But, yeah, if you make it not too expensive, then it's always possible. Like $25 is what, 20 quid in the UK? If this was something I really wanted, snap that up and take that home. And so you might think, oh, Jay, we've run out of thingy. No, we've not. This was only because I searched wargaming terrain, even though I would argue 2 of them was not wargaming terrain. I guess it was. The troll one and stuff like that was essentially. So we'll click through a few of these. And we get a video. You know I love me a video. If I didn't play Blood Bowl on the computer, yeah, to be fair, I used to play Blood Bowl on Fumble, but it was a lot of time, and if I'm honest, probably not my game. It's a bit too mathematical of a game for me. It's like, I feel like it's a maths equation. 6mm MDF a field isn't necessarily needed when it's easy enough to make though. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, why do I want to print out the field when it's sort of so easy to make? These alien plants look cool. Is this literally just alien plants? They're cool alien plants for sure. I got no qualms with them. Again though, they're 3D designed rather than like physical miniature there. Shrooms! Is this... how long is this? It's... I mean, I really like those rocks and stuff like that, but... what is this? This is Fantastic Plants and Rocks. Small scale scatter. Okay. Don't get me wrong, they're cool. And they have printed them out, which is always good to see. I think you really need to print them out. Yeah, okay. Can't beat the old GW cocktail sticks and... well, maybe you can. The crystals were neat. Yeah, the fungus would be... yeah, they would be... they're cool. I think they're really cool. Obviously would be pretty good for a resin 3D printer as well. Okay, I think like they're not that interesting in a sense of like they're just small scale terrain pieces basically, or you could even write them on some bases. but you know, they're cool. There's just not like an absolute. Weirdly, there's actually is a lot of variety in them, but you know, they're not. It doesn't excite me in a sense, but everything here looks cool. I am very curious about the price on this one, so I've got to say the first one. Well, not bothered about backing it for a reward. There's almost no point doing that. But $12 gets you the 12 euros in this case. It's about $14. 10 sets, each 5 rocks each. Okay, yeah, like if you want them, fine. So you get the rock. Oh, so they're doing the classic. You get the rocks. You can either get 10 rocks or 10 plants, or you can get them both. Like you might as well just get them both at that point. I mean, you look at that. The difference between 12 euros and 17 euros. You're going to get them both. You made some of the old cocktail sticks in tinfoil. Just like as branches, or what were they? I would either buy these a la carte for like $3 to $5 per item a group, or I'd just skip it. I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying. But I mean, for $12 if you wanted some plants, sure. I think like plants specifically are actually pretty hard to make as terrain features go. So I do understand the plants at least. I think that makes a bit of sense. Yeah, so some cool exotic plants. Oh, apparently there's the jungle ruins, which I didn't even realise. So I think this is high. I'm not 100% sure what you get for this, but yeah. They look cool. These crystals look amazing. Obviously, I think I don't think these are actually printed, are they? Unless those blends, they are so super smooth blends if they were. So I don't think that's actually real. I think they're 3D model. But yeah, all right. I think they look pretty decent. I'm just going to try something, so just bear with me a second. Maximum professionalism is incoming. Yeah, the second edition 40k has some believing about it. All right, okay, cool. What I'm going to do is turn this off. And what I'm going to do is obviously I'm not doing what I think I'm doing because I'm supposed to. Oh, nope. I pressed the wrong button. Works. Bear with me a second. Oh, what am I doing? Ooh. What am I doing? Just bear with me a second. Oh, now we're talking. Can you see the lines? Basically, I'm getting headache from the light, so I've turned off the light. But I am sort of like strobing for whatever reason. So that's weird. Maximum professionalism. Thank you. I'm slightly strobing here. I'll show you that in full cam so you can tell that I'm strobing a little bit. Oh, come on. Concentrate on my face. Maximum. Yeah, so it is what it is. If I have the light on, it's very bright. Plus, in this sort of like screen here, you can't really see it. So we'll just go with that. I just get a headache. This light's so bright. I don't. When I used to have is that a fit? Yeah. See if I can fix that as well. I don't know how to do that on the fly. Whoop. I'm recording video. I'm not actually recording the video. One second. Nope. Nope. Okay, I've got the light on, but it's very, 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 very dull. Check out that armpit. Ooh. Oh, check out these guns. I have literally no muscles. It is what it is. Yeah, I'll show you this full face. Get a load of this. Oh, what a beauty. I've made it dead yellow as well, just to warm me up. What a beauty. What a beauty. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, this one. What is this? Again, I don't... Print your stuff. Please. Print your stuff. I don't want to slag them off too much. They're obviously not a massive company or anything. But yeah, just print your stuff. That they only had $126 goal, so they're obviously not huge or anything. But I would very much prefer if you printed your stuff. Oh, for God's sake, maximum professionalism! Because I showed you my full face. Wrong camera. All goes wrong when I try and do stuff on the screen, isn't it? All goes wrong. Well, that's it then. Maximum professionalism. So yeah, they've not actually printed the stuff. It's only a small people, so I don't have any problems with that. Tau, which is its good thing. That's interesting. It is Tau. Oh, they have printed the stuff. I was slagging them off for no reason, and they have printed it off. They've not painted it particularly fantastically well, but that needs a wash. Fappingly amazing face. Thank you. That needs a wash. I understand Tau is... They should have gone white. Sprayed it like Wraithbone. Sprayed it with I've got it, guys. You spray this Wraithbone, then you give it a little bit of a highlight of... No, not a highlight, like a darken of... you spray this Wraithbone, then you highlight it with a pure white with a spray. Then you give it a black wash. You can't give it a wash, can you? Because if you give 3D printed a wash, damn. A little liquid talent would fix that. No oil. Yeah, so the problem with giving it a wash is because I can see 3D printed lines here. This is a problem. He obviously can't 3D print this with a resin printer. So you can't give it a wash because it would highlight the lines. That's one problem with 3D printing full stop, isn't it? If you've got lines, you can't really give it a wash. It's way better for me to either cover them with filler, or always an option, or that resin we spoke about before, and one thing I like is just to spray it. Weathering powder, you could do. If they've sanded it enough, yeah, but they're going to have to... They can't be arsed sanding all that, and I don't blame them, because it would take a while. It looks fantastic in a sense, but the paint job's a bit on the iffy side. But to be fair, it's a little bit weird, because it's just blocks, isn't it? I think they've used too thick of a paint. Maybe. It looks thick. The paint looks thick. I don't want to slag them off too much. It's only 50 hours. It's only 50. Lazy sods can't be arsed standing it all. They're again using this open lock system, which is cool to see on a 40k terrain. They're using open lock. That's cool. I like it. I need to investigate this system. And maybe I start making my own terrain using it. Because I can do some basic stuff. Like a craft paint instead of a modelling paint. I don't know. It just looks thick. And it would be, if you could give it a wash, it would look fine. But obviously they can't because it's 3D printed with an FDM printer. But yeah, the actual models look fantastic. I don't want to take them away from that. They did everything I would have asked. They printed it and they painted it. So yeah, all right. Let's see how much. Oh, I love this price. This first price, £8, $11. Thin your paints, which I never necessarily do that. Car spray would do that. Well, that's why I was saying they could have gone with a grey and a white highlight spray, and then maybe blocked in a few colours. I feel like that would look a little bit better, but I'm not going to message the guy. I'm not going to get up all in his grill and be like, yo, you printed your stuff. I don't like the way you painted it. Paint it my way. Yeah. Open lock is great. You can even get the clips on Thingiverse. Yeah, I need to look into that. But yeah. It is the black. Yes, so liquid skill or liquid talent is null oil, basically. The black wash from Citadel. But to be fair, any wash will do that. I like this. I like the sales model. It's £8, $10. Or you can buy it and sell the stuff for £50. That's really fair. Okay, I like that. The amount of pieces, it's not like there's an absolute shed ton of pieces. But this looks better than this still. And this is the image they've got for the picture. I feel like the picture here is not doing them the great service. I will tell you, Stoke-on-Trent, not too far from where I live. I'll go visit this guy. I'll go visit him and then visit Mel. I was going to say, I'll be like, I'll get him on the channel. We'll have a good chat. I might go paint them. I'll go paint them for him. I can't paint. What am I talking about? That is someone who wants to sell a volume. Yeah. Yeah. He didn't even ask for that much. So this guy's thrilled. He's going to make his money. 47 hours to go. 47. I don't have a 3D printer, but if I did and I played Tau, I would back that. I think it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. Yeah, it looks good. Boom, 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 boom. What is this? What is this? These are basically D&D greebles. Need to find a Dawn of War Imperial Guard terrain set. Jesus, that's very specific, Steve. So these are D&D miniatures based around the sea. What is this? Wait. That looked like it was Russian. It's a very nice DSLR camera. I'll give them that. Vodka, definitely Russian. Is he making resin? I don't know what this video is. It definitely looks like resin. He's got a lot of plastic cups. This man is single-handedly ruining the environment. I like it. I've turned this into a Kickstarter React channel. He is making miniatures. A bit of me thought he was making sweets. That weirdly looked like a space marine. Oh, it's an orc. I'm film-based and not played Dawn of War for years. Oh, I'm really thirsty. Deutschland. I said Russian, but that was Deutschland. Über alles. I don't know what that means. Wait, we've got a gap. Mystery Studio. Founded in 2012. Alright. Alright. There's a lot of them. Jesus Christ. The other guy was just one guy. If I knew where my discs were, I would do it for you. This is... Okay, I get the gist. These are pretty professional. They've been going a while. Did they print their stuff? They had that actually looks printed, so I'm happy. I'm very... This is 3D render. Yeah, alright. I wouldn't... They're from bloody Netherlands. It was like nowhere near, I said. I was going to say that was making me really thirsty. I obviously don't drink alcohol, but I do drink Coca-Cola. And I'll go tell you, that was making me really thirsty. I was like, damn. Demi J, I just backed the Toy Terrain. It's been another guy making for terrain sets for a local store. Hey, can you get commission on Kickstarter? Can I get some commission? That's what I need to look into. I bet you can, I'll try and get my 5%. I might disagree, Jay. Finding a Dawn of War Imperial Guide set based on the campaign would be a very specific set. I don't know what Imperial Guide terrain is. Surely it's just like 40k standard terrain, like bunkers and like sci-fi World War II, I guess. Jay Young, they're in the bottom of the cupboard in the box that you've not seen for years. Could be. Right, so I wouldn't personally have expected to pay an absolute shed ton for this. Oh, but you actually get it delivered. Oh, that changes everything. Oh, this one's a little bit... Oh, you get the miniatures actually delivered to you, so I can't really price this. I've literally no idea how much that would be, but it is what it is. Everything there looks good, though. I'll give them that. Now, this one... Howe in Sunderland, like... that's my Andy impersonation, even though he's from Newcastle. Howe. Hey, it's the same guy. It's table. Wait, no, it's not. Is it the same guy? No, it can't be the same guy. Who was this? No, that was Hodge 3 Design. Oh, okay. I got a bit confused. How dare you? Gonna watch a Dawn of War Imperial Guide campaign? Right. Okay. YouTube. Dawn of War Imperial Guard. We won't just watch it. Like, the fun stops. Wait, when the fun stops, stop. I don't have a gambling problem. I just would like to clarify this.
There's always a chance with 33 spins at Bet.
Makes it seem like I do. I don't.
And Wicked. Oh, with some more Deathcore of Krieg. These guys fighting.
This is exactly what I was saying. It's like futuristic World War II stuff.
Can also shoot their own fellas in the head to make them fight better. And alongside rounding off
I don't drink. I don't gamble. I don't do anything interesting.
the retinue of stormtroopers can also add to the retinue, giving him more abilities, really strong defense and support. And it's the Vostroyan Firstborn scheme.
This is...
Chaos. Tyranid Terror is a chaos sorcerer.
If he bets, he doesn't... Oh, I just said I bet. I bet I don't. Oh. I can't win. This is sci-fi World War II. I stand by it. Not that one. Dawn of War 1. Oh, you're very specific. Dawn of War 1. How do you search Dawn of War 1?
Alright. God, I didn't even realise this game. Gaskin Squad.
I can't make anything out. The game's so bad I can't make anything out. It's just... It's sci-fi World War II. I'm not listening to you. Isn't army based. What? I don't bloody know. The Wall of Martyrs Imperial Terrain was a bit disappointing in quality. I want to get the Bastion because that was good. The Wall of Martyrs Imperial Terrain. The trenches. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So, I don't think that's printed. But I can guarantee this guy... I can guarantee, that's a lie. It's very likely that this guy hasn't printed the whole of this because it's massive. But it does give me that sort of like... Necromunda water, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. The Necromunda thing. It's sci-fi World War II. Let's be clear. The whole idea behind... See, I thought it was. People make it out like I'm crazy, but it basically is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. I don't want to see every individual part. Alright, I would have liked to have seen it printed. I feel like it would take a while to print to get it on the table. It looks good. It gives... What is... Necromunda... Zone Mortalis. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. Gives me that kind of vibe. It looks good. It looks good. I'm very intrigued on this one because like he's not printed it, but it is... there's a lot of pieces to it as well. What a little detail on this one, like pipes and stuff like that. I'm curious. The guy's just called Darren. He's let's see more. Gamer, biker, model enthusiast, STL creator, artist. I feel like he should have made it rhyme. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should make this rhyme. It should be like Darren, Gamer, Biker, Grove. I don't know. Is it sci-fi? This is sci-fi. Yeah, it's got like pipes in it and stuff like that. I don't think the presentation on this one is all that amazing, but 25 quid for a big set of pieces. Yeah, all right. You will have access to. I do apologize. Somebody is doing some stuff. So basically, you get one without the stretch goals and one with the stretch goals, and then one with a license. Okay, it looks fine. It looks fine. I don't really know too much about the Zone Martalis stuff. Quite a while to go. It's only had 4 backers at the minute, but hopefully they'll pump it up. This one's got quite a while to go. Have a look at this one. Ooh, the Rampart looks pretty decent. Let's have a look at some more. That looks like a sci-fi dungeon crawler. Yeah, it does. That depends on if you bring psychers. What? Wizards in space? Greek gardens. I almost said Greek grenades. This one does not look like terrain. Check out the time. Okay. See, let's. I'm just going to pick some intro. These are all backed. Oh, okay. Well, that one looked good. That one looks really. I'm going to just look at that one, even though it's already been and gone. But this one looks good. Very, very orky. It's basically orc walkways, isn't it? Somebody's doing some bloody like garden work or something at this time of day. Castle spiral terrain. Spiral castle. What? I don't want to slag this. I don't want to slag Ollie off too much, but this is poor. There's no pictures. Hey, I'm all about these pictures, mate. I'm gonna need some pictures. Oh, he has some pictures in his. The pictures are taking a while to load. Boys, we're getting orky now. Oh, I do love me some orcs. Enjoying Jay's Kickstarter review with a beer. I don't even know why we're doing this video. It's just this stream. Well, I said at the start, and obviously I don't think you weren't here, but I was planning on making some terrain, but then I realised I was tired and couldn't be bothered. So it is what it is. Speaking on that, what was I going to say? Yeah, I think it's partly because one, I was off yesterday off work, and then I've been working from home today. I'm going in the office tomorrow, so my mind's a little bit more like just fed up a little bit, having to like go in. Fed up my dreams of being a full-time YouTuber have not come anywhere near fruition. I don't want to be too harsh, but I don't like this presentation. This was not a good one. It was not a good one. This one looks good. The scale looks weirdly small on that picture for some reason. It looks like a tilt shift picture. What I should, if I can be bothered and I realise I pull my finger out, I will try and do some orc terrain in October. I will try that. I don't want to be. I feel like I'm just being mean, but whilst these look completely fine, they look more than fine. Texture looks fine, detail looks fine. I'm not 100% sure why you would do this. Maybe it's the low walls, but man is tired, so he spends 2 hours with a blue light. I've turned it yellow. It wasn't really tired. I was sort of like fed up, I guess. Not fed up makes it sound like I'm like super sad, but you're just like not in the mood to do that. This needs to be the first of a series of. It will be. Really entertaining watching to bash and compliment Kickstarter campaigns. Yeah. So as I said, in December, and nobody will remember in December, but in December I made a video on the channel, and I was going through some Kickstarters that I was sort of like recommending. You are right, Steve. To be fair, it is a blue light from the screen, and I was like, should I do this every month? And people were like, yeah, do it every month. But I was a bit worried that I was going a little bit off kilter with what the channel was becoming. The channel was, it's very terrain tutorial focused, isn't it? I've not really expanded beyond that apart from the live streams, and the live streams are live streams, so they're not really part of the channel. If anything, I make them unlisted so you can't even watch them. So we can do this every month. So probably I might try and schedule it a little bit. So once every month or what have you, we'll just have a look at some Kickstarters. I will probably try and buy a printer so I can actually buy some. But it is what it is. It's a chill chat. People can ask questions. Really, I could be doing anything. The goal is just to sort of chat and get to know people and entertain and stuff like that. So, if you, I'm happy to be here. That's why I didn't want to not stream just because I couldn't be bothered. I didn't want to not stream because I like the streaming part of it. I'm really enjoying it, and I enjoy talking to you guys. So, the difficulty is. I think one reason making terrain on the stream just sort of adds a little bit of level of complexity to it. I've got to make sure the camera's on it. I sorted out a webcam so we can get the webcam on my face. I've got to make sure that the video's fine, the lighting for the stream's fine. I'm talking to the stream. I've got the audio for the stream's fine. So that level of complexity when you can't be bothered necessarily as such, I just sort of couldn't do it. So I thought, well, come on and we'll do this. This is a great question, Steve. I'll give you tech support for this 3D printing. I would need it. So I will answer this question with a full screen. That was very loud. I do apologize. The goals for the channel. So I set myself a goal. So this is a long story, right? I don't know if I've said you're gonna get the whole story. I go back to about 6 years ago, something like that. I started streaming FIFA on Twitch, right? I was like, I'm enjoying FIFA, I'll stream it. And it went reasonably okay, but you know what? Streaming 3 hours a night, 5 days a week, I was like, oof, that's not for me. But then Katie was like, oh, I'll stream Pokemon. And so we streamed Pokemon. And then we sort of shared Pokemon. She would do 3 nights, I'd do 1 or 2 nights or whatever. She was the main part of it. Your eyes. So I do apologise that you get to see this beautiful... second heads growing out of my face. Anyway, so we streamed Pokemon for a lot. We actually got partnered on Twitch when it was difficult to get partnered on Twitch. We had over 100 viewers at times, but it would, if you took any kind of break, it would very quickly drop off. And it was very seasonal. So if a new Pokemon game would come out, you'd do well. And if summer holidays was good because there was a lot of kids watching basically. So we were doing that, but we wanted to move house and have a kid and stuff like that, so we sort of stopped. But before that, I was like, oh, I'm spending a lot of time on my computer, which I obviously still do, and I have no qualms with this. But I gave myself, I was like, I used to play fantasy with that boy needs a wall to cover. This wall. I need something to cover that wall. I used to play Warhammer Fantasy with my friends, right? That was fantastic. So me and my wife, she wasn't pregnant at the time, we were like, oh, we'll try and do some wargaming. And then I made the wargaming channel, which was called Tabletop Oddity. I've now renamed it to J Oddity. And I was just doing general wargaming stuff, just, without a plan, without any thought or consideration. It was sort of just like a hobby to do wargaming. Anyway, Katie found most of the games to be a bit complicated and wasn't really that interested in it. But then Star Wars Legion was announced, and then I just did Star Wars Legion. And then I was doing terrain. So when Star Wars Legion was announced, I started making terrain. And I started making terrain, and I did it in a way where it was really approachable, simple materials. Basically, everything that I do now, I was doing then, but specifically for Star Wars Legion. And a lot of people found the channel through that. But when Star Wars Legion came out, I was so hyped about the game that I was just playing the game and talking about the game. Anyway, to cut the long story slightly shorter, I think over time it dawned on me that basically to become, the goal is obviously a full-time YouTuber, doing whatever basically, but preferably something I enjoy. Ideally something I enjoy. Turns out that I'm really passionate about making things easier for people to make terrain. But I realised just playing Star Wars Legion, talking about Star Wars Legion, there was no passion in it. There's no purpose. There was no, it wasn't that rewarding. It was nice to see the views go up and stuff like that, but it wasn't that rewarding. So I thought we'll go back to the old school. We'll do terrain, and even if the channel never becomes like a full-time success or what have you, the purpose of getting people to make terrain for their table of all different, from right down to like really budget terrain to like probably high quality terrain eventually, just getting people to have a better battlefield, I feel like is more meaningful. People get to create the stuff, which is fun, and it, in theory, improves their games as well, which is enjoyable. So I'm very strongly passionate about that, and the goal for the channel would be to just keep doing this and turn it full time some ways. And there's a couple of ways to turn it full time. One is through Patreon, obviously. You're never going to get there through ad revenue. And two would be some sort of shop. But if I'm honest, like if you start making a shop, you basically become a store owner rather than a content creator. So you're just working doing something else. So I'm not necessarily sure that's it. So it's a long-term goal as well. And at the start of this year, I said to myself, I'm going to do a year's worth. I wrote down a list of a year's worth of content ideas, and I was like, I'm going to give it my best shot. And that's what we're in the middle of now. And if it, I set myself a couple of goals. I said to myself, hey, if 2,000, I said at the end of the year, if I end up like with 2,000 subscribers, 2,500 subscribers, I was like, I'll be okay with that. I'll be happy with that. And then I was like, hey, there's a like if it goes really, really, really well, we'll get to 5K. I was like, 5K is like exceptional, right? And then I was like, if I get a video that blows up like Eric's Hobby and Bard's Craft, I was like, you could get to 10K, but 10K is like very unrealistic. If I'm honest, it looks like I might get to the 5K level. So I'm very, 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 very happy. And we'll just have to wait and see where it goes from there, basically. But the long-term goal is just to keep doing what I'm doing, and maybe try and promote Patreon a little bit more, try and get more Patreons, try and build a community through the live streams and Facebook and stuff like that. Because really, I think like community is something that I've strongly liked. But it's good to get to know people and talk to people, and that's one thing that I'm trying to do a little bit more. Apart from painting, I love making and building terrain. A lot of people do, and I do like it as well, which is good. But I'm sort of more passionate about helping people start, if that makes sense. You're my favorite terrain channel. When I build my 6x4 table, it will be 70% of my terrain. Cool. I really appreciate that. I'm really happy to see that. Like, I know for basically that my terrain is not, I try to think. Some people do like really exceptional high quality stuff and every piece takes forever. Like Real Terrain Hobbies, for example. He made that incredible board that he said took him a year. My terrain isn't that. My terrain is, I'm going to get this done. I can do it. I will do it. It's not going to cost me that much and it's going to look good. Any plans to do? So I do want to do a mega build. We were trying to do that industrial build, but just struggling with time at the minute. And I don't really have the solution to that. But it is something I will try and get to. They're selling individual sections, which is fine. But yeah, like I wanted to do that massive industrial build. Would you answer the door? Sorry, somebody knocking in the garden. Nobody's at the door. I do want to do the problem with those mega builds. They take a long time. So in the short term, I'm actually sort of thinking about the opposite of that. I'm not sure I can compete with the massive projects because I get in my own head about like, can people buy this? You remember we talked about the paintings and stuff like that, and I will do that build at some point. But I think I might be better with like little tiny projects like, oh, here's some rune stones. Here's some I don't know, I was going to say a little pond. I might like just some more basic stuff combined with some new concepts and maybe the occasional big build. I sort of need to like, I need to get more consistent with the release schedule and stuff like that. So it's a big ass question. Like, this one's not a video. These are some tents, very sort of like weird forest kind of vibe going on here. The trees look insane, but I like them. Very like bubbly. They've printed them, which is always a good sign. Yeah, very caveman-esque. I don't know what to say, like hunter-gatherer kind of thing. A mega build could be as simple as watching a fold-out table with a matching terrain that would go well with a mat. So, Steve, the video that I'm considering doing is basically a full table's worth of terrain, and trying to do it in an interesting way. With cheap material, it wouldn't be like it goes well with this mat. It would be cheap materials, quick and easy. So I'll confess, I was slightly annoyed about Midwest Mini's previous terrain video, because it was like his terrain video was a whole table worth of terrain for $4, and it's basically like packaging material that he specifically has, and you wouldn't have the same packaging material. And I was like, he doesn't care, and nobody else cares. Only I care about the fact that that isn't replicatable unless you have that specific packaging material. So I need to let it go a little bit, and if only I can do certain things and it's cheap or what have you, then I need to sometimes do it. But I've got a plan. My whole table will be material that everybody can have, but I need to chill my beans a little bit. And by the way, I like the fact that these have got like farm animals. Very hunter-gatherer. But yeah, I need to just relax myself. What kind of table? It will literally be a very standard table. It will just be ruins, hills, trees. No trees actually, because trees are too difficult to do for the price that I want to do it at. Just a bog standard thing, probably just to see how long it will take me and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's one of those ideas. I've not even started filming it yet. I do have all the materials I need. I just need to find the time to do it. This sort of wild hunter thing, I think if you've got a purpose to have this, it looks fine. It looks fine. Check the price. $20 all in, personal use only. Fantastic. But so there'll almost be nothing new to it. It's almost a challenge just to see how quickly I can do it and how much I can pay and stuff like that. So I know how much I've spent. Since my brother wants to play Harlequins, I'm going to have to build some circus amusement park terrain. You might want to look at the Batman miniatures game, because you know the Joker, he has like a circus stuff, and they've got like cardboard terrain. You might want to just check that out. That could be interesting. I will show you what I mean. If I'm honest, I'm just very quickly going to look at these. Let's very quickly look at these. What is this? It's again, sort of like a stone axe kind of like thing. They're actually printing their stuff out, which is good. I really like the bone on that. That looks pretty damn cool. It looks like a cool system where they can add stuff. Looks fantastic. How much is this? Platform pack. Oh, platform pack? Charms pack? Oh, you can get some pretty cheap. Oh, that's only €2 for the platforms. Pretty decent, pretty cool. Let me show you what I mean about the Batman Joker terrain. So they have... Oh, where is it? Well, it's in the back of there. So you can see they've got like a Ferris wheel and stuff like that. But you want a working one. Obviously, that's if you want to buy it. Obviously, if you want to make it, make it. But there is some stuff already that might fit that. This one looks fine. Some Greek gardens. Yeah, cool. I've got no qualms with that. Everything there looks decent. Not even that expensive. €6. $6. Fantastic. This one looks interesting. The Necron building. And they have a nice, cool system for building it. Hey, I wonder if I could get a dowel. I don't have one of my dowels. I was wondering if I could create a hole through this using a dowel. My parents will be so happy that is what I use my degree in engineering for. Hey, I mean, Oh, nice size. You could just not tell them. Everything, 15 quid for everything, looks pretty fine. Boom. Boom. And boom. Need a big top. You know what I need to do? I need to change the camera so that the white balance is fine when I have the light on as yellow instead of looking super yellow. There will be a big top. A big top. What are you going to use for that? Canvas. What are you going to do? What are you going to use for that? I don't know. But yeah, I've got a thing. So I can get my webcam. I can't quite get my webcam to the windowsill because it's too far. Jay, get a hole saw kit if you want to drill clean circles into blue foam. I'm gonna have to check what a hole saw kit is. Hi, Ellis, by the way. What is a hole saw kit? It just comes in right here. What, telling me to do this? I don't even know what it is. Card supports and PVA tissues. Oh, interesting. So let me get whatever Ellis just spoke about. Hole saw kit. What is a hole saw kit? Let's have a look at this. Yeah, right. Okay. No. Yes. So I bought a drill bit, right? Not a hole, not one to create a hole. Made an absolute bloody mess. Is safe search on? It's not supposed to. Unless somebody, if somebody is telling me something dodgy, oh, I'll be furious. But yeah, these look cool. I don't want to make. It's a tool for sawing holes. You know, I should have known. With a name like that, I should have known. This is fine. My problem is I don't really like using drills full stop. It all comes back to what materials. I do wonder how many people have a drill. I suspect most people do. But I'm very if I can come up with a solution that doesn't involve a drill or a mechanical tool, then I'd rather use that methodology. Like when you build your hole in the neck of building, you used a pipe. I used a pipe. Yes, Alice, I used a pipe. And the reason I used a pipe is because if you don't own a drill, a pipe is £3. The pipe is cheaper than this kit, right? So let's say you have a drill. Do you buy the kit or do you buy the pipe, right? Okay, you might buy the kit because then you've got the kit. Let's say you don't have a drill. Well, now you've got to spend £40 on a drill. Which I have a drill. I've bought a cordless drill. That's the stupid thing. I've bought a drill and I could buy that, but I don't like to do it. Yeah. I'm very, this is something I think I talk about quite often. I'm very particular about the kind of tools I use and why I use them and stuff like that. £20 for my... It's not even beyond the realms of most normal, most people. I was going to say non-poor people, but I don't want to I never had a drill until I needed one. But you could buy one, but it's just money you're throwing away if you don't need one. So yeah, they're decent. To be fair, my dad used to have a drill, and he used to have bits that look like that because my dad was an engineer, like a mechanical engineer. So non-handy work people, yeah, I didn't have a drill until I needed one. I probably would never, to be fair, I'm probably never going to use the drill. But if you're just cutting foam, you could stick a whole saw on the piece of your dowel and turn it by hand. You could, yeah. To be fair, you could literally just buy that kit and use your hand. Because I was using the pipe to get it through, and that worked. So something designed to actually cut it will work. So for sure.